Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Rivalz Race Chat. Clinton and Adam here, as we are every week. And this week a bit early, right? Because Spencer had some prior commitments. We could have either been early tonight with a late start or late in the week with an early start Wednesday. So we chose to get ahead of it. Adam, how you doing?
This is bullshit. Spencer,
Why?
you can talk. You can ask questions, and I don't get to hear the answer because the wizard can censor me.
Well, he could tell you
Censor
a joke
himself,
about me that I don't know because he has control to speak to either of us independently.
and this is bullshit.
I didn't know that. I've never used that superpower we have, but thanks, Spencer, for letting me know. We can talk shit about Adam behind his back. We have action-packed show here tonight. Of course, if you weren't with us for the Nationals weekend, you missed one hell of a week. Some good, some bad. We'll discuss it tonight. We have the $30,000 Richard Nick Sheridan coming on tonight to talk about his run to the big check on Saturday night. Ryan Coniam, Adam, we know is a legend around here, and his family's been at it forever, up and down all the ranks of racing. We asked Ryan to come on at the party Saturday night because he had some cool things to talk about, and just his perspective on his weekend made me proud. And I said, man, can you say that on the air? Because we'll talk about Ryan, about how his weekend went. Ryan Turner went 15th to second in a race that he's won a couple times, 3 times already. He would have potential to be the first four-time winner. So Ryan said he'd come on tonight. And Jordan Howse is going to come on and talk about the final dance this weekend at Sunset. There's also racing going on at Buxton and Brighton, so we want to wish everybody who's going out there the best of luck and make sure we give them some love, too, on the show. We're going to talk about action-packed, Adam. I don't even know where to start. Nicky's ready to jump in. Nick, do you want to say anything before we bring Nick on?
Yeah, I do, folks. If it seems like Clinton is supercharged tonight, it's because this is the time of day when Clinton starts to work. This is the time of day when I've already been asleep for a freaking hour. All right? So, look at you. You're just smiling and energetic. Who is this?
I think it's because I'm excited about all the topics we have to talk about. I could not wait to get on the air tonight to discuss it. And, of course, obviously it's special to me because it's going to be Ush Weekend based, a lot of the talk tonight. But, man, have we not got some killer storylines to talk about? I had some learning moments. I had some reality moments where we got brought back to reality this weekend. So lots of cool things from the inside Ush Weekend perspective. So, yeah, I am jacked up. This is my favorite time of night. Nicky, join us. Bring him on, Spencer. Nick has run good last year's race. Really been since about a month before last year's Nationals, I felt like you turned the corner and you've been a top 3 contender every night since that point. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we always spend we haven't raced sprint cars really that long, and we try as much as we can every week we do. And I remember back last year, right around the time we had the Summer Nationals with the TSN night, we kind of learned a lot of things about the race car and changed how we approach a lot of the racing, how we do a lot of our setup stuff. And we've definitely been a lot quicker since then. It's been amazing. It's been an amazing journey. And even this year, we turned it up even more. So I'm so proud of everything we do and excited to be on with you guys. I'm still on a bit of a high from the weekend.
You should still be on a high. Nick, what was going through your mind the first 20 laps of that feature? Dylan got out to a badass start. It looked like you got out to a fine start. Did you know what you were calculating there?
Yes and no. I know last year we had a really great finish in the Nationals. We were battling for the win at the end, and we had some fueling issues and problems with our car that kind of kept us out of that. But I know going in the race, I knew I had to be patient. This is the longest race we run all year. I know 35 laps doesn't sound like a lot to a lot of people, especially for asphalt people where I come from. Sounds like it's just a dash, but it's a long race in a sprint car, and it's something you really gotta be prepared for, and honestly set up for the end a lot more than the beginning. And I think that's something that I learned a lot about last year at the Nationals. We got a lot of good notes, and I've mentioned this a couple times before. Before the feature Saturday, I had a qualifying setup and a heat race setup and a feature setup already written down ready to run for every session, and we changed a lot of stuff between them all. And it's about good preparation. I think we were prepared very well. And then the race, we went with what I had written down. I wanted to change a bunch of stuff, so I always do. I'm just crazy like that. I want to change everything at the last minute because I get all worried. But I went with what I wrote down, went with my gut, and I knew the first few laps we weren't going to be great. Those guys were probably going to be better than us, but I figured there'd be a lot of cautions, which this year there wasn't. We had that first caution a couple laps in, and then I don't know. I just kind of had a feeling that there wasn't going to be a lot. Like I knew when that green flag came out, we all kind of got spaced out, and there's a lot of quick cars. And it's like if you don't have a couple of cautions at the beginning, everyone kind of gets spaced out, and the whole race goes green. And that's how it went. So I knew on that restart, I really wanted to get the second on that restart because I wanted to be beside Dylan if we had another caution. And so I drove pretty hard to get the third, and I was battling with Matt, and I kind of just ran my race, didn't do anything stupid or too aggressive early on, and then finally got by Matt. I was the second. I was like, hey, I'm content to be here. And I was watching the laps, and I'm like, I got to go. I can't be saving for a caution. If I save for a caution, there isn't one. I'm gonna be mad at myself for a long time. So I went pretty hard there for a few laps. I didn't even really see Dylan. I knew he was kind of up there, and we inched him, and then I'm like, oh, there's his tail tank. And then 2 laps later, I'm like, oh, it's getting bigger, and like, man, I'm right there. And so you're airing the move here when I got by him. But for 2 or 3 laps, I was catching him, and I got right up behind him. I'm like, no, not yet. Patient. Wait till the time's right. Wait till you can get there. And I see him go to the. I knew he was going to go to the middle of 3. Did it a couple of times, and I knew I was good on the top going into 3. I knew he could carry a lot of speed down the front stretch. So I waited till I was close enough. They went to the middle, and I got that big run in 3 and 4. And I knew at 4, I knew now's the time. You gotta do it now. You don't have another chance like this. And we did get by him there, which is awesome. And once we got the clean air in our wing, I knew we were going to be even better, just be quicker. And I was watching the lap timer, and the one number was burned out on the lap counter. I couldn't tell if it was lap 21 or 31, and it was freaking me out. Like, it better not be 13 more laps of this. I can't take that. I can't take 13 more laps. And watching 4 to go, 3 to go, I seen Ryan get the second, and the whole time I'm just thinking, oh no, what's going to go wrong this time? What can go wrong? Like this isn't real. This can't be happening. Something's going to go wrong. Don't do anything dumb. Don't be an idiot. Just trying to kind of keep my cool, and we got to the end, and I'm not sure if I came out. I still didn't even believe it. Didn't set in until we already threw tech back in the trailer. Then out of nowhere, I just started yelling and crying and hugging everyone I seen. They kind of hit me pretty hard. So that was kind of the thought process, and I still can't believe it when I think about it. I'm almost look at the smile I got on right now just talking about it. It's a crazy weekend that I'm never gonna forget for my entire life.
Nick, one of the things you said to me in Victory Lane was it's life-changing. What did you mean by that?
There's a lot of things that it's life-changing about. Can't really get into all of them, but just there's so many people the last few weeks that have been working really hard to help get me where I am. Glenn Stiers, Terry Vince, this the engine program, a lot of different people, all of my crew guys. We've all been we're prepared for it. We're working hard, and this much money is life-changing to me. I've never never held that much money in my entire life. That was something amazing. But it's going to go a long way towards our race program to help out our team and be better for next season and do some more racing outside of Oswego, kind of tour around and come back and learn more and just kind of hopefully keep getting better. And just being on the t-shirt. I know it sounds crazy, but I see those shirts with all the winners on them, and I've wanted to on one of them so bad. And I can't believe I've already done something to put me on there. It's amazing.
Nick, the Nationals draws fewer cars now than it did 10 years ago, and the pandemic is part of that. The level of competition, though, I think has a lot more to do with it than anything else. It is hard to come to Oswego and compete with our teams. How does that make you feel, being at the top of that ladder when, Sam Haferteep started on the front row? He is as good a 360 sprint car racer as anybody in North America. And he went backwards, but you went forward.
It's unfathomable to even think about to me, Adam. But I think it all kind of trickles down. Our guys are getting a lot better, but Dylan Westbrook, I think, is an amazing race car driver. And I was talking to my dad about this today, and he's an amazing race car driver. And when you race against guys who are that good every week, just like Johnny Cash said in his song, you either got to get tough or die. You either got to get better yourself or keep running like crap when you're racing against people that good. And it just makes you work so much harder racing against him. And we all work hard. Like I know I do, but there's so many teams out there that have had to get better to contend with him or even think to have a shot with him because he's amazing. And when you get so many people that are that good and other series come up, it's tough for them. It's a little discouraging for some people sometimes. I understand that, but even like when our Schwegen regulars go to some other tracks now, we've all gotten a lot better, and it's an incredible group. You have to be on top of your game every single week at our Schwegen race against a lot of our guys, and there's a lot of great people out there racing, and there's some other situations, the border situation, the COVID deal that kind of make it tough for people to come across, but our guys are amazing, and it's something that's amazing to see. People from Canada, you don't really, at least I've always younger growing up, you always think, the Americans are really good. Whenever Americans come, they're gonna kick our butts. Americans are always better, and then it's come to a point now where our guys are really good, and we can put up a good fight. And obviously, we can run good at some of the best stages like the nationals, and it's amazing. It's something that I'm so thankful to have raced against Dylan for so long, and thankful to finish second to him for a long time because it just makes you get better, and it's only going to be hopefully better for me for a long time coming.
Spencer, let's look at some of the pictures I sent you today from the Nick collection. Nick, we shared a couple pictures today. I thought it was kind of neat of your special moments. There you are winning the Plaza Award, fastest Canadian and fastest qualifier. And this kind of speaks to what you said about Nick. The competition's tougher here, and we used to have a fastest Canadian qualifier so they would get recognized. Our local guys had a shot at something, and now many years it's been our guys who win that. So that's cool. $800 start tonight, isn't it good? That's a cool picture. Right after the fireballs went off. Keep them rolling, Spence. We'll just blip through them here. Cool picture of you in Victory Lane. We always like when the TV lights are on. And then this picture I like, Nick. You rolled up to the party right in front of where Tina and Glenn had set up the party. Tina is just as proud of you as I'm sure Glenn and Chantel and everybody are. But Tina, the other co-owner of the Speedway, it was great to have one of our guys, and Tina said, I got to get a picture with him. So that was cool to see you and Tina. And bringing the trophy to the party is always cool. I like this moment, Nick, when you're at the pay window after you got your official tech done. And that's Nick with $30,800, I think was your take home from the day. And it was a great pleasure and honor for me to walk you back to your dad because didn't want you to get mugged because everybody knew you had to pay out. And this is a cool moment. Why don't you talk about this, Nick? This is you and Dad. Mom wasn't there. Tell us about this moment and when this took place, FaceTiming your mom.
Yeah, that's something. My mom does not get the recognition she deserves, man. She's amazing. She's a huge partner behind the scenes. She lets us do what we want to do and have to do all the time. And she works hard with everything. And she unfortunately had to work Saturday night. She couldn't make it for our biggest night of the year, which was super upset. We were all super upset. But as soon as I was done and raced and I was through tech, I had to call her right away. And Dad and I were holding tears back on the phone with her, just with how much he does and she does everything we all do for my brother and I's racing program. And it's just something that I'm so thankful. I'm very upset that she couldn't be there for that. But so I got to talk to her. And we're just I love working together as a family with everyone we have. And it's just it's amazing. It's a pretty emotional time. That's an awesome picture. And the whole night was just a roller coaster of emotions. It was I'm so speechless about everything. It was amazing. Hopefully I don't know if I'll ever be that happy again in my entire life. I'm sure I will be, and I can't wait for the next time.
You will be. In fact, you might be this month, Nick, because I am 100% sure if you can help your brother to Victory Lane at Delaware Speedway, I think you'd have equally as big as I think you might be happier if you can get Jake to Victory Lane. When does your thought process switch over to the late model?
It's a very different vibe at the asphalt world, man. It's just so much different. I don't even know how to describe it. The people are different. The racing's different. And I'm just as proud when I get to work with him, and we run great. I'd love to get the Victory Lane with him there. It's something that I do love, and I love my relationship with him and how hard we all work for each other. And the asphalt stuff, I love working on it. I do. It's I don't know if I'll be just as happy as I was at Victory Lane, the $30,000 at Michigan, but I'll be pretty pumped up for him for sure. It's amazing to share that time with all my family, and I do take a lot of pride in that program too. So that'd be awesome. But that was last Saturday was pretty amazing. It's hard to top.
Nick, confidence, you're riding high on that now. A lot of our guys are going to go to Eldora. It's the high limit in the Great Lakes this weekend. Are you going to make the trek to Ohio and try and go down with the other contingent of Weekend racers?
Yeah, we're planning on running the 360 down there and doing what we can. Last time down there, it's just another thing. I don't have a whole lot of experience racing at tracks different than Oswego, definitely not any bigger. That's probably the biggest I've gone to. And we just missed the setup a little bit down there last time. I definitely made some good notes, and hopefully we can work back on that and get better for this feature down there. I'm very excited. Eldora, once again, I was talking about this today. Eldora is my favorite racetrack in the entire world I've been to. I've never been to Knoxville. I'd love to go. That's on my list. But everywhere I've ever been, Eldora is the number one. I love that place so much as a fan and as a racer. So I'm so excited to get back there and see how we stack up on the biggest stage on Four Crown weekend. It's going to be amazing. There'll be a whole lot of fans there and sharing the track with some of the amazing 410 drivers at Eldora. It's another thing, something one can only dream about. So I'm so excited to do that and see how it goes. Hopefully we can get a little better this time and run near the front.
It's awesome.
And Nick, it was so much fun to see it. I didn't see the whole race. I've seen it since, but just the whole vibe and to see you after at the party with your dad, everyone having actually, I don't think I saw your dad. Yeah, I did. I don't remember what I saw at the party, but I remember you there having a great time, and it was very, very cool to see. Like it's what it should be, right? Everybody celebrating afterwards, and congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Adam. We also no, I don't usually celebrate too hard, but we had a pretty good night Saturday night. That was something I knew was once in a. I don't want to say once in a lifetime. I'd love to do it again, but the first only happens once, and you got to enjoy the moment while you're there. And we had a great time. So happy with so many of my friends and supporters I had to hang out with. I got to hang out with on Saturday night. It's so amazing to see. My craziest part about the whole weekend was my phone had like 60% battery on it before the race started. And I ran the race, and I came in. By the time I got to tech and pulled out my phone, it was at 5% with like 150 text messages. My phone kept buzzing and blowing up, and then it was dead by the time I tried to contact anyone back. I couldn't even text them all until Sunday afternoon. I had to find my charger or nothing. I was a mess after the races, but so thankful for all the support I've had from so many people, and it's amazing. I had a friend of mine tell me that when I passed for the lead, he stood up on the grandstands to cheer, and the grandstands shook so much he fell down backwards on the grandstands. So that's something that I'm never going to forget that story either. And it's so unfathomable and amazing to see all the support for me and how much we do. It's amazing.
Nick, you're a great representative of the Speedway. We're proud to have you, and I don't think anybody in the pits was pissed off to see you take home that big check. Well-deserved, bud. You're one of the hardest-working guys we know in the sport anywhere, and proud to hand you that money, man. Enjoy it. And do some good stuff with it. Bring home the Eldora Trophy and show them the Oswego guys can kick ass anywhere. And we'll see you in 2 weeks at Delaware.
Yes, so thank you. We're going to go try and take some of that American money this home too and see if we can pile it up and put it all into the race program for next year. So I appreciate it, guys. Thank you for having me on the show. And I'll try and settle into reality here soon.
Keep floating, bud. Nick Sheridan, the 2025 Northern Sprint Car Nationals winner. $30,000 picked up on Saturday, courtesy of our great sponsor, Sittenville Construction, Nitro 54 Variety Aero Express, and of course, Juniors Riverside Bait and Tackle. So pretty awesome we could do that to Adam. Ryan Coniam should be joining us soon, and Ryan Turner as well. So so many stories, and we are going to talk about the Dykstra Stratford deal. We'll break that down too, because we've been talking about it from us from the promotion side. You had your hometown hardworking kid, Nick, win, hold off all the outsiders. Then you have your two, I guess, I'm probably going to get shit for it, but your two villains face off in the 12th round of a heavyweight fight on the last race of the night, last lap. And I say villains because depending on which side of that battle you're on, if you're a Dykstra fan, Brett's the villain. If you're a Brett fan, Jacob's the villain. What a story. What, like, shit. We're going to get to that, so just hang tight there. Spencer, let's look at the question of the week while we wait for our next guest, either Ryan Coniam or Ryan Turner to jump on. This is question of the week for all our racer fans, viewers, and everybody participating. Would you rather win the Daytona 500 or the Indy 500? Let us know what you think in the comments. I thought that was a great question. Adam, what you say?
Someone went to the effort to find that question, so I don't want to throw any shade on it. But I
What kind of shade are you going to throw on that? Go ahead.
what are we talking about?
You're asking a racer, growing up or coming up through the ranks, would it mean more to you to win the Daytona 500 or the Indy 500? Why is that so hard to comprehend?
I just don't know where it came from. It was kind of random. Like
Who cares where it came from? We're a racing show. I'm asking you, of the two premier oval track events in the world, which one would you rather be the winner of? Why do you got to complicate everything? Just say one or the other.
Indy 500.
You could say it's a stupid question because it's obviously the Indy 500. I would allow that because prestige and all that in 100+ years. Oh, bullshit. I love your parents, but bullshit. And it is after 11 or 10, so we may have some swearing. We had some swearing after 10 on Saturday night, too, right on the track, and that was some wild.
Yeah, well, that's where you brought up some great topics. You brought up some great topics, stuff I wanted to talk about, and you throw it in. I don't fit in either of the goddamn things.
Again, complicated. It's a hypothetical, imaginary question. It's only like you're going to complicate and so, well, I couldn't be Indy because I'd be 300 pounds overweight. Like, just which of the two in a perfect situation?
It reminded me of those shitty posts on Facebook that are.
Where do you think I got it from? Where do you think I got it from?
Oh my God. Are you joking? You did this on purpose just to wind me up, right?
Well, I didn't pick it from anywhere. I saw it on Facebook, so I screenshot it and threw it in the chat.
Like Oswego Speedway has a Facebook group, and AI says, "What is your most memorable moment?" Come on, that's not.
I thought it was good. To some people, the 500.
Legitimate. You obviously thought it had some legs. I'd rather talk about Jacob Dykstra and Brett Stratford and Jesse Costa Saturday. So between Saturday and Sunday, the three topics of conversation were our three most successful crate sprint car drivers.
Yes.
And I think that's pretty cool. And then at the Sprint Car Nationals, our top two drivers were the top two in the Nationals, with Ryan Turner, who wasn't top two this year, coming on to show why he's such a phenom when it comes to extra long races.
We definitely had some great stories. I just didn't want to break into the Dykstra thing because we're going to talk about that for a while, and with the Stratford thing as well. I just didn't want to get into it and then cut it off because Ryan and Ryan were supposed to come by. Ryan Turner's joined us. We'll jump in with him now. If Coniam comes on, and then we're going to talk about the crates. We're talking about me falling on my ass, and I hurt myself bad in Victory Lane. If you were there and saw me wipe out after the crates, backing up. Yeah. I couldn't walk at all yesterday.
Did you die?
I got up.
You got
but it hurt.
And I shouldn't joke. I heard it. I was driving, and I thought I was actually concerned.
Jumping with Ryan Turner.
I wish I'd have been there.
I don't know what happened there, but I got cut off. You got me back?
Spencer got tired of your bullshit.
Let's bring in Ryan Turner. He's not wasting any more time. He's got two young twins to run after. Ryan, first off, congrats on the deal. But secondly, I had to send the hat video of your son mugging with the Hoosier hat to the Hoosier people this morning. It was so awesome to see that. It was so cool when he took the hat off, put it on backwards, and straightened it out, mugging for the camera the whole time. It was awesome. Ryan, but what a run for you, 15th to 2nd. Talk about your night.
Yeah, I know it was great. Obviously would have liked to start out a little bit better. Would have liked to qualify better, go through the heat race better. So we could have started up front, actually, going at them early there. But no, nothing to complain about on Saturday night for sure.
When you started the race, Ryan, did you feel you could win it? Like, what? Once you're 15th, what is your goal from that point? What would make you happy?
Honestly, with the race being so long, anything can happen. Honestly, you think there's going to be more cautions than there was. Um, honestly, my mindset is just one car, one lap at a time. And, we were already, was the first caution 3 laps in, and we were sitting ninth. And even it's funny, I watched the G-Force play back, and they're talking about people that moved 3 spots, and I had already moved 7 or 8. And, we were rolling really good. And, you just continue to click those spots off and just continue to do what you can, right? And move forward. I was very lucky. The crew gave me a great car. Little disappointed with kind of, the lines I chose late in the race. I felt we had got to Nick Sheridan early in that race, and I never really left him. We were about a second behind him or a second and a half behind him, but just didn't make those kind of right decisions late in the race on the line to pick. Really figured it out with about 5 to go there, and obviously picked off Dylan, but wish I would have learned that a little bit earlier there.
No, Ryan, I think at some point later in the broadcast, one of the announcers said, "Oh, where did Ryan Turner come from?" Because you snuck into the deal, and those races just tend to come to you a little bit more. I'm excited that we had TSN cameras in car on you, because I know Joel's going to cut that into awesome. To see you pick those guys off one at a time to start the race is going to make for some awesome TV on that broadcast. The track held out great, Ryan. Was that what you expected? Because obviously last time the GLSS and the visitors came, it was absolutely atrocious. But what a rebound by that. Was the track what you thought it would be coming into the finals, or was it slicker or tackier than you anticipated?
Honestly, after Friday night was so slick that, I kind of thought we'd have a repeat of that on Saturday, and couldn't believe the grip it actually held. It was a lot tackier than expected. Especially the heat races, we're still running low 14-second laps. And you know what? We knew with 30 cars on the track, it would burn off quick. But no, it held in there good. As you can see, Nick Sheridan was still ripping the top. Like, there was still that top lane to be had. And even I was running the bottom for most part of the race. It started to go a little bit away there late in the race, and that's why I wish I would have ran the middle a little bit more. But no, honestly, the track was good. You cannot complain with a smooth surface. That's my number one thing with sprint car racing. Can't complain with a smooth surface. And honestly, put on a great show. I've watched the race a couple times, and there was multiple lines that everyone was running. I thought it was a really good track surface to race on.
Ryan, what do you do now? Are you going to run any more 360 stuff, or are you going to go play with the 410? What are your plans?
Bit of both. This weekend coming up, we're going to Eldora on Friday, and then right now we're planning on going to I-55 on Saturday if all plays well at Eldora. We the Nitro 54 crew, Brando and Dan, they're always looking at where we can go next, and we had a good run the last time we were at Eldora, so we're excited to go back. Fell off a little bit late in the feature, fell back to fourth, but drove our way to the lead there halfway through the race. So, we're excited to go back and try our luck there again. And, we just any chance we can go travel and, learn a little bit more, have a good time, we're there.
What kind of challenges does Eldora bring to you guys? Like, what's the hardest part of getting around there that you found?
Honestly, it's just keeping the car straight. As soon as you get that car turned a little bit, the air catches the sideboards, gets it laid over on the left, keeping the car straight. And then also, with the gearing in the sprint car, you got to watch your takeoffs at starts. You can't just mash it to the floor like you kind of do at Oshwegan. You got to be really calm and patient on the throttle. You can actually overload the engine with fuel. So going out on the road, those are the kind of things you learn. And Eldora just being so big and wide, really trying to find your line, find what's fast. It can be really tricky that way.
Ryan, give us your report card on your Oshwegan Speedway season.
It's kind of disappointing. Obviously our goal was a Schweden championship. Would have loved to get another nationals, but honestly, it's hard to be dejected on what we did this year. I believe I had 6 seconds this year. Obviously, one being in the nationals, and even the cars we passed to get to second in the nationals. If you just look at those people, you had Sam Hafty leading the ASCS points, Jordan Poirier leading the Empire Super Sprint points. Max Stanbaugh, he won the points for the GLSS. If you just look at the people we passed at the nationals, it's hard to be dejected with our performance this year. And you know what? If you look at the top 3 at the nationals, Nick Sheridan, myself, and Dylan Westbrook, top 3 in points, right? So it honestly, we had a good year. I wish we could have had some better nights when we struggled, but we've had a really good year. This is probably my most consistent year I've ever had. Just not as much winning. Only had 3 wins on the year so far. Hopefully we can finish it out with a couple more in the States. But I think we talked earlier in the season, and one of the goals was to win in the U.S., and we did that. So, if you hit some of those goals, it's a positive season in the end.
Ryan, lots made about the car count and the lack of not getting to 50, 70 cars like we used to in the past. I've been kind of equating it to a couple different things. One, we've lost a good group of our local racers who used to race locally around here, like even, Chris Jones, Chris Steele, Cunningham was there, the Brown brothers. There's 10 of our guys, Derek Jonathan, 10 of our guys don't show up. But I feel that in the first 15 years of the Nationals or so, the 30 guys around here were easy pickings for the outsiders to come in. So they didn't wipe you guys off the board and felt it was a race among 40 for the big money. Now it's so tough to come into Wash Weekend and run and beat you guys and our regular guys. I think that has something to do with the car counts not being in those 60, 70 points. What do you attribute the car counts to, and should we even be making a big deal out of that?
Yeah, honestly, and even like I can think of Jim Hoopin and Tom Hoopin. These go on and on, right? Of local guys that aren't there. But on top of that, we definitely scare them away. Even I think I mentioned before the last Nationals, we'd have 7 in the top 10. And we did. That was in 2024. And it just continues on that trend. There is not a lot of weekly racing in sprint car racing. So for us to race weekly out of Schwegen, get all that practice, be on the track weekly, that's a massive advantage. And it shows when the ESS or GLSS come to town. And when they do come to town, when they're forced to come to town for the points races and they get beat up by us, I don't think it's really inviting for them to come back. Not that they don't run good against us. They do have good runs here and there. But it's just definitely, it's tough. We have a really good core of 360 sprint car racers at Oshwegan. And we show that now. We're starting to travel. And, just like Eldora, I think we had 3 of us in the top 5 last time we were there. It just shows when we start to travel and we're running good against them at their home tracks, why would they want to come compete with us?
Adam, if I could just jump in there for a second, we had Ryan Coniam at the fire. We were talking. This is kind of why we invited him in. He said, we're kind of developing a 360 posse here, kind of like when the Outlaws come to Pennsylvania. It's not easy pickings anymore. When they go to Knoxville, they have their own crew of hard 410 racers there, and it's not easy for the Outlaws to come in and beat them. So I think that was quite a compliment to you guys, Ryan. It's awesome that we can put on these great events and just keep building the sport. So, man, good luck in Eldora. That's all I got for you. Adam?
Yeah, man, have a good time down there, and you put on a hell of a show.
Hey, I got one more for you, Ryan. You said you watched the show. Any comments on the Dykstra-Stratford situation?
I gotta obviously watch my P's and Q's. First of all, a lot of people came out with me Saturday night, and they loved it. They thought it was awesome. They thought it was great.
Don't get yourself in trouble. But what entertainment! Holy shit!
Yeah, no. The problem is the crate race was a 1-lane race. as it kind of showed there. Obviously Dykstra was in the lane, Stratford was battling it. I think Stratford, made the right move to put himself in there. And I just don't know if he knew he's going to get that much grip to drive over Dykstra. Like, I think he put himself in there to try to push Dykstra up and then got more grip than Dykstra coming off the corner and drove over him. That's my opinion on it. But, he definitely made the move to try to push Dykstra up the track.
Wild entertainment,
Yeah.
That's a good assessment of the situation.
And, the new people I brought to racing, Clint, they loved how you put the mic in their faces right away. They loved that.
We'll talk about it. Yeah.
Brett's interview was fantastic until the end. Brett did a very good job of articulating what had just gone on, even in a balanced way, saying that Dykstra did what he should do. Like, he gave credit where credit's due, and then at the end,
I was surprised that Brett was so classy about it. He was very good with his answer until he wasn't. But like everybody's commenting on the internet. Well, what did I think? I knew exactly what they were gonna do. Are you guys kidding me? That's I thought I'm surprised. I think Brett. The things that surprised me, Brett was polite longer than I thought he would have been. And Dykstra, I thought, would have got a few more words out before he dropped the bomb and had to pull it away. So those are,
And if I can step in there, honestly, that Nationals, the racing, that drama, if you don't think that's going to bring people back, oh, yeah, people will be back next year.
Well, it reminded me of an old school Merrittville deal because they all flooded out of the pit grandstands. It was a scene and a half there for a while.
We were working on our car. And all of a sudden, the whole pit road was full. And I'm like, okay, what happened?
Thankfully, there was no fight. Right? They said their piece. Whatever happened in the back, they never converged in an ugly situation. All the ugly was on the paying side of the fence. And that's where it's supposed to be.
You didn't hear the whole story about me going back there and talking to the teams and everything, Adam? Did I tell you that?
I heard there were people back there talking to the teams. Listen, that's where hot dogs come from. Don't care. Don't care what's in a hot dog. They're delicious. Don't care how you had to keep them apart back then. I don't care if you tased them in their trailers. It never escalated. So that's good. You did a great thing.
It was fair. They stayed their thing. But Ryan, what a great show. What a great run by you. Thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate your comments as always. Hey, Indy 500, Daytona 500. Which one would be more to win?
Indy 500.
I'm with you. History there.
Yeah.
Daytona's cool, but man, over 100 years.
Better racing too.
Yeah, Daytona's bingo anymore. It is high speed bingo. You don't race your way to a win at Daytona through much of anything.
Yeah, and just step in there. High Limit has said this big time. It's go to the racier, smaller tracks. What's on a show.
Right on. Yep. All right, Ryan. Agreed. Good luck,
Thanks,
man.
Ryan.
Thank you, guys.
Ryan Turner, multi-time national champion, going to head off to Eldora this weekend. Okay. I don't think – oh, we got Ryan Coniam. Sorry, Ryan. I didn't know you were there. We'll bring him in. Ryan, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for joining. Good. Thanks for coming.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Ryan, we got talking at the fire Saturday night, and we got talking about what the Weekend Nationals event has become. You've been around it since the early days when the SOS was running their Canadian championship there. Are you surprised at how it's come, and how would you describe your weekend?
So as far as what the Nationals has become, there was a big hiatus for me, obviously, when we went and got on the road in the early 2000s. So I missed a lot of the evolution of the Nationals, and I think I've been back, 3 times or so, 4 times maybe since I got back racing. And it's just become one of those premier events that, you can go head to head with something that takes place at Eldora or, Williams Grove or Knoxville or Lucas Oil. Some of the big premier events, that to me is what it's become. And it's a good time. I think everybody that's there is super intense. I heard the earlier part of your conversation on the car count. I mean, I wouldn't be stressed. There was, 45 cars, I think, or right around there, and there was 35 cars that were, good enough to win on any given night. So I'd be taking pride in that. As far as my weekend, you know, we had good speed all weekend. I think early in the night we were in top five speed wise, both nights. Um, didn't know how far to go with things in the heat race, and we were three different shades of suck on Friday night in the heat race. Um, and you just can't be at an event like that. You can't be off at any time you hit the racetrack. And then Saturday night, good speed again, qualified okay for as late as we went out, I thought. Um, Managed to hang on in the heat race to Dylan. Probably didn't need to bounce it off the fence quite as hard as we did. And then in the A, at the start of the race, we were really, really bad. We tried something, didn't work out. Fortunately, we recovered a little bit later in the race, but you can't give up any ground on that. So there was cars behind us, but there was still cars in front of us. So that I wouldn't say it's great.
Ryan, for a few years there, though, maybe it wasn't a few years, but it felt like a few years. You weren't in the ballpark. And it's obviously not your driving skill. You know how to drive, but clearly the car wasn't there. What has changed in your program?
So when I got back into sprint cars, so I quit racing in '05. And when I quit racing was right around the time that cars still had flat bottom chassis. So meaning the left side frame rail is up 1 inch from the right side. That's the way they are now. When I quit, they were flat across the bottom. And I mean, racing is a lot of muscle memory. What I needed to feel was that left side frame rail dragging on the ground all the way around the racetrack, and really, really hard. And that would, give me the gauge on how we were early entry, how tight the car was, how far we could go with it. Well, since, everybody's gone to the raised rail car, it allows you to get the car way, way tighter, but you don't quite have the same sensation. So when we got back into sprint cars, I put those cars together because that's the feel I needed. And for the first little bit, you could still run RD tires. And the RD tire is a much softer construction, meaning the spring rate of the tire is a lot less. And I think it hid some of the problems that were associated with that not having a raised rail car would highlight. And then when we went to this, whatever this tire is, the medium or whatever this left rear tire is, man, yeah, we couldn't find our ass with both hands and a flashlight. And the car was railing out so hard, and because the spring rate of the tire was so stiff, it would pop the car up and bounce it over on the right rear, and we were garbage. And then what happens there is you wind up overdriving it, get yourself in trouble, junk race cars, and I did that fairly successfully, I think. But now that I've gotten a bit of a feel with the raised rail car, speed's coming back. It allows you to be a bit smarter and a little bit more patient. I think we're getting closer. We also don't race enough to really be at the top of our game. Sprint car racing, for someone like me, I would say that I was competent at it when I did it a lot. And, when I say a lot, we were doing it 80, 90 times a year. Now, only doing it 10, 12 times a year, you lose some of that racecraft. And when you're running against these guys, you can't give that up. So we're getting speed back. I'm getting a little bit of confidence back. I think my decision making, because the car is a little bit better, some of my decision making is a little bit better too. So it's all coming together, but you need to string a full night together. You can't be off in a heat race. You can't miss a dash. You can't be off in qualifying. So that's what I got to work on. And I think if we get a couple more reps, we'll be a little bit further forward.
Ryan, like you mentioned, you're only racing a handful and a couple more times this year. What else is on your schedule for this year? Will you go to Eldora like a lot of these other guys will this weekend?
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll be at Eldora, debating on Outlaw Speedway with the ESS guys. They have a different wing package, so that becomes a question. Do you really want to go to a gunfight with a knife? We'll just have to figure that out at the time.
And
Right
I don't want to name drop Ryan, but I guess I do. Johnny Benson, I heard he was there for the weekend. He must have kept a pretty damn low profile. Did you get a chance to talk to him? What were his thoughts about the event?
Yeah, so for the folks that know or maybe don't, Johnny runs the Litke Super Modifieds from time to time. He came up to see it. I think he was pretty blown away. I think he was pretty impressed with not only the race but the level of competition. I think everybody's probably mentioned it. There are no slouches, and I think he was pretty surprised by that. And he tends to like to keep a low profile. He was in the pits scraping mud and working like the rest of us. So it was pretty awesome to have him there, and he's got to see a lot of racing. So it was fun. It was good to see him, and I think he really enjoyed himself.
Yeah, no,
What
and
about
that's
your
why I brought
favorite
it up.
stuff? Sorry, Adam, go ahead.
After his NASCAR career, Johnny's been very active in grassroots. So if anybody has an opinion, it would be that gentleman. He's done it. Sorry, Clint, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask Ryan, what about your pavement stuff? Will you be in any super modified stuff or anything like that coming up?
It's really difficult for me to get away racing at the best of times. I think we got back to the shop at 7 or 8 o'clock on Sunday night, and I was in Boston by 9 o'clock this morning. So to add races to the schedule is difficult. I love the super modifieds, but they're a ton of work, an absolute ton of work, and finding the rides and making sure folks have the bandwidth to field either a second or a third car is really difficult, and that's pretty taxing. So I think focusing on one discipline at this point is probably the best decision.
Right on.
Right on, man. Ryan, thanks for stopping by. It was fun to chat with you Saturday night after the races. Really fun to see you more competitive.
Absolutely. It's good to see you guys. Thanks for having me. I'll leave you with this. I know everybody's probably mentioned the level of competition, but I think what I was trying to articulate at Saturday night when we were talking, if you look at like a Knoxville, for example, they got a pretty stout field of 360s, but you'll see those 360 guys try to jump up and run the 410s, and they really didn't have the same level of success that some of your local guys did when the Outlaws came to town. You look at a Clint Gardner, somebody like that, that does run the 410 from time to time, absolutely lights out in the 360, but is not what I would say competitive with the World of Outlaws. Didn't you guys have local dash winners both nights for the Outlaws? Yeah. And you had guys running in the top 5, top 7 both nights. I think that's what people need to take away is, that's the level of competition. So to even make that field, I think was something that probably people don't realize how difficult it was. And there were, 25 or 30 really good race cars on there. So great to be involved with it, and wish we'd have had a better night, but could have been worse too. Could have been wrapped up in the fence, because I've done that before.
For sure. I wasn't going to bring that up, but otherwise, well said, Ryan. Good chatting with you.
All right, guys. Take care. Have a good one.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. We appreciate you making the effort to come to Ush Weekend for the few times you have this year. It's always cool. Love to see his dad, Mike Lichty's dad, Brad, and all them there too was great on the weekend. So anything we do for you guys, let us know. Jordan Howse should be joining us shortly. Glad Ryan was able to get in. We're going to talk about Sunset's final dance. Then we're going to go back to Ush Weekend because a few things happened this weekend, Adam. I had to stand up in front of a couple racers at a couple different times and explain that, sometimes we are wrong. So we'll talk about that. I also want to talk about flushing out the toxics and where you going this week. I'm still debating. Will I go to Eldora? Will I go to the trailer? Will I go to Brighton? Will I go to Buxton? There's lots of options if you're a race fan out there, depending on who your disciplines are. Dual on dirt race this weekend, I think, is at Buxton. And so much going on. Spencer, I sent you a couple pictures of the track. I don't know if you collected those. If you can, throw them up. This was how good the track looked after baking all day Sunday morning and afternoon as well, Adam. Look at the lanes that are still there on the track, good to go. After the night Bowman won it a couple years ago, I took some pictures, and this outside was just giant craters. But, man, look at that track. It's ready for another 35. You can still see grip down through the middle. And just happened to drive by, and it looked so pretty, just quietly sitting there the next day, not hungover at all. So it was quite the cool look at the track there.
The track was the only thing not hungover on Sunday.
I felt good. That's not what I meant by flushing out the toxics. Okay, while we wait to see if we get Jordan Howse, let's talk about a super exciting idea. Spencer may freaking kill us. I don't want to get into too many details, but Saturday night at the party, Daryl Pelche's wife, Nikki, was hanging around, and she had some great thoughts on a show for women here on the Run by Women, which I love the idea of the wives' perspective of what they go through. And Nikki, you guys will come to find, she couldn't join us tonight. She said she'd join us next week to talk about the possibilities. But Nikki is a dynamic personality. In about 5 minutes, she had Adam and I absolutely roaring, and we were like, 1,000% we need to do this. We followed up today to make sure it wasn't just fire talk, and she said she's into it.
We agree on nothing, you and I, and we're both like, this is a really good idea.
Yeah, just the stuff that the ladies go through that are hanging around the sport, supporting the men, racing themselves. I think there's so much great stuff, and the fact that they're new parents, 2-barrel, as we 4-barrel son, 2-barrel. I believe the name is Dawson, youngster. So she's dealing with all that. And I just think the woman's perspective of the mother, the wife who's supporting the husband and all the hours it takes to go and the boyfriend, I think is great. And the one thing we talked about, even from the storylines this week about Ush Weekend, imagine that the storylines from the 3 big topics. What was Nick's girlfriend going through at that moment as he's chasing down $30,000? What are the Dykstra and Stratford significant others going through as that situation's unfolding? I think there's so many different sides to it. And even Tina was there, to have someone like Tina Stiers talk about what she's gone through in the years. I think there's so many different great lines there. And so look forward to Nikki's potentially having a weekly or monthly show here. We're going to work something out. Let's bring in Jordan Howse. Anything else you want to add to that to sell the ladies program, Adam? Because I think it's going to be amazing.
Fresh perspective. We're going to be hands off. We're going to be spectators and see what happens.
We both agree it's got way more potential to be way bigger than this. So I think that's potential. Let's bring on Jordan Howse. Jordan, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. You've been one of the top guys at Sunset Speedway for a long time. What are your feelings going into what they're calling the final dance?
It's bittersweet. Mainly just because winning the championship this year is the best way that I can leave off with what's going on with the track. But you never know. Something could happen down the road, and I think that's what we're all hopeful for. I think we will all silly not to be, but and I'm excited for next weekend, but also a little sad going into it as well.
Oh, no doubt. And I think, like you say, whatever the future holds almost doesn't matter as much as let's honor Brian and Sandra and give them a huge send off. They've done some pretty cool stuff with that place. Jordan, how much farther is it for you to go to Sunset than it is to go to, say, Flamborough on a Saturday night?
I'm smack dab right in between Flamborough and Sunset. It's an hour and 15 each way from the shop.
Because your dad was a Flamborough guy, but you are
Yeah.
clearly, to me, a Sunset guy.
Yeah, 100%. It's weird because I grew up at Flamborough, but I cut my teeth at Sunset. So I think I have less than half a dozen races under my belt at Flamborough for the most part in a late model. So it's definitely been odd, think, for a lot of people watching me there compared to Flamborough, like if it was dad and stuff like that.
Sunset coming up this weekend. What kind of late model race are you looking at there for the viewers who aren't aware of it? And, it's going to be packed up there. I'm sure 3 days of racing are going to be jammed. It's been a great crowds all summer since the announcement came out. Obviously, everybody wants to get a few more shots at the place. How are you feeling about the party atmosphere and what's going to go on with the whole weekend?
I've heard lots of good things about it. A lot of people are planning on going, from fans, racers, stuff like that. I know a lot of people are pumped up to camp all weekend long and kind of relive the whole Sunset Velocity experience one more time. And I'm just hoping we get a lot of cars out, and fans to show respect and thanks to Sandra and Brian for everything they've done. And I want the last show that I'm going to be in there to have a big field and be tough.
That's one thing you can't control, Jordan. Is you can get your car ready and come out. You can say good things and hope other people will see that. But how much of a difference does that make to be in a full field of cars in front of a packed grandstand? Not necessarily while you're racing because you're focused on the job at hand, but while you're lining up for the race or while you're just looking around at when there's a lot more fans and cars.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference for me. Even 2 weekends ago, Sean Cronin came and he had a whole bunch of people just in the beer garden side, and it was exciting seeing everybody standing there waving to him before the race. And I'd be lying if I didn't look, or if I told you guys I didn't look up at the stands every time I drove down the lineup lane to see how many people were there. And it definitely gets you pumped up when there's a lot more people. And same thing with having a full field. For me, I like the challenge regardless who shows up. You always know it's going to be tougher having more cars there. So every bit of it gets it excited for me.
If you had to describe Sunset to our race fans that have never been there, you're giving your first description. Come up to Sunset. It's how you're going to describe the track to someone who's never been there.
I don't want to say it's the raciest place because I don't want to piss anybody else off, any other track owners and that, but definitely probably tell them that if you want to go to a track that you can see guys restart on the outside or start on the outside and have a really good shot at driving away on the top there, or a lot of I find there's a lot more side-by-side battles, so it can be more action-packed in places. I find guys don't need to do a bump and run on each other. You get past there, you can set it up a little bit better. So I think it's just an extremely racy place, and it's important for people to get out there and come see the last show if they haven't been there before.
Right on, man. Well, good luck this weekend. I got nothing else for you except that we appreciate you coming on to help pump that up. It's going to be a huge weekend, and I hope you get the most out of it.
For sure. Thank you guys very much for having me.
Right on, Jordan. Jordan Howse will be up at Sunset for the final dance this weekend. Spencer, show those 3 cards we sent you today if you can. It is going to kick off. Still lots of tickets and camping available. The last dance, the end of the era for the Tottishes. Check it out. Kicks off Friday. And pit gates open at 3:50, tech at 4, and so on and so forth. The race schedule will get underway. And it's going to be a wild 3 days, jam-packed, all kinds of classes, and entertainment in the campground both nights. So hopefully everybody goes up and checks that out and supports the Tottish era, as you said, Adam. What do you want to do, Adam? You want to break down I guess we should jump to the Stratford Dykstra thing. So as a promoter, obviously we had our hometown kid defend them. Then you have the 2 top storylines of the crates go at it. Jesse Costa wins on Friday, has to go to the B on Saturday. A lot of craziness ensued. The other thing that we would talk about is that I was proud about was that on Saturday night after the Dykstra Stratford situation, it was cool to have Josh Fern from New York win, Murdoch from Ontario be second, and Bruno Richard from Quebec be third. It shows the crate sprints are growing all over, and to have those guys come in from those two different regions and run well shows that Ohsweken can be conquered. If you put a few visits in, you can get it done. So, question: if Jesse Costa was in the lead instead of Jacob Dykstra, would Stratford have made the same move? That's a good question. That's a good question, Gary.
100% no.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
That's
There was no love lost. Hey, let's break it down. So as soon as they rolled out in the poll, I mean, I radioed up to the tower and said, Dave, be ready, because it's on like Donkey Kong here. These guys don't like each other. We're going to have some. I said, watch it. The shit train's coming to town. Is exactly what I think I said to Dave on the radio. Just knowing something was going to kick off. And what a race it was, side by side. I mean, Zach Heiser, who was filling in for you on the mic because you were at NASCAR at Delaware. I know you got back right around that time. But, man, he said, like, how many times are these guys going to bang wheels? They played with the torch way too long before they got burned. Wouldn't you say, Adam? Like, and a lot of it was Brett knocking on the inside. But, man, they must have banged wheels 8 or 9 times before it actually bit them. And I, show it, Spencer, if you got it, because these people haven't seen it. Can we go back at all? Like, if not, that's okay. But we can set it from there. If not, so they're racing hard inside. Brett got inside him a few times. This is coming into turn 2 on the last lap. So he can you pause it right when he gets inside, Spencer? Let's play with the pause button a little bit.
He wedged his way in there.
Just skip it ahead, Spencer. Scrub it ahead a little bit. Okay, so it's open there. Stop it right there. Stop right there. So if you're Brett, you do have a lane, right, Adam? Like there's a lane there if your car will bite. There.
Yeah.
Keep scrubbing it like that, Spence. And right there is where someone said they touched, and that turned Dykstra he had to correct a little bit, and whatever pinched it off, and that's when it took off. Okay.
And that's why Brett wasn't upset after. Jacob Dykstra did nothing wrong there. Jacob did what Brett would have done to him, but not what they would have done to most other drivers that they don't have a bitter rivalry with. They were running those sprint cars like street stocks.
Oh, it was insane.
You can't hold someone down the track with your driver's door the way you would in a fendered car. And Stratford knew the opportunity.
Yeah. But you could also say the door was like Brett was really wedging it in there. And he'll tell you that too. Right. I don't know if you got the interviews, Spencer, if we should play them again, but Brett was pretty politically correct. He gave more leeway to Jacob than I thought he would in the interview. And then, of course, he called him POS, and we had to break that off a little bit because we were going to let them play a little bit. And then I went over to Jacob, and he basically just said, call Brett a name, and that was the end of it. But
Jacob's interview would have been different had he not been able to hear Brett's interview.
Yeah.
Jacob had
heard
what Brett said. I don't think he says what he said. He might say it eventually, but I think he would have taken a lot more runway to talk about things.
Could have been.
And that's just me.
Someone asked me. So then the situation was, and there were a couple things where it got misannounced. Someone thought Jacob was disqualified. Jacob was not disqualified on Saturday night. He was told he could take it to the tail or he could take it to the pits. So we'll get back to that in a second. But if I'm in his shoes and I'm in that situation for the race control, I'm not going to start 24th or whatever it was with the cars that were left with a green light checker to go back there with the guys trying to figure it out. You might as well go to the pits. What are you going to finish? 19th and maybe not wreck your car? So I get why he chose to take the pits. Obviously, you're angry at that time. Here's where the debate comes at him. People are arguing saying Jacob was not an involved car and he should not have had to give up his lead position. So show it again, Spencer, if you can.
because
Actually,
there are tracks that say as long as your wheels don't stop turning, you're not an involved car. As long as you are
yeah.
constantly in motion. But that's not how things have ever been at Ohsweken. And they're not talking intent. He didn't get put to the back because he caused the accident. He got put to the back because he was a part of the accident.
Now, if you watch this, just let this view go, Spencer, right through at this speed. This is great. So, yeah, of no fault of Jacobs, and racing is that way. But I'm sorry, when you spin around backwards like that, the front of the field, the guy beside you's flipping. You are an involved car. Your nose wing is tore up. You can't say you didn't get hit or be a part of that. And I didn't even get to talk to Jacob about it. And I know Dave did after the race. And it's just one of those deals. Like, you were obviously an involved car, and the way we've always governed it, you have to go to the back. Now, even Doug Leonard called me today and said the Outlaws, he would have a hard time putting them to the back. And I said, well, I prefer you don't say that publicly, but I'll say it for you, Doug. But I said, no, man, in every way. Now, we had talked about after, and I said, Dave, if they got together rubbed and Brett drove over his left side wheels and Jacob was straight the whole time, I could live with him not being an involved car. But as soon as he did a 360 in the middle of an accident where there was contact and another driver is flipping, whether it was your intent or not, and I don't think it had, no, even if you take Jacob right out of it, he's minding his own thing. He's coming down. He probably didn't expect Brett to be in there really hard until the last lap. I mean, I'm sure he knew it because they've been in there all race. But if he thought Brett was going to take an aggressive stance, I think he thought it with 3, and Brett did too. Brett said that's why he did it there, because he knew Jacob would be waiting for it in 3 and 4. But
show that again. Steve Murdoch and Cam Thompson worked magic avoiding that.
Yeah, and while we watch this, how about Abby's kick-ass drone flying? To know this is going on, to be on the scene, to get whipped up, turned around, and focus on what we're about to see here. Like, that's some badass. And look at these guys. Both stopped and flipped. Vernon Murdoch got through it somehow.
Oh, that was Vern, that was Cam Thompson. So, no, yeah. I think that was hugely exciting. It was unfortunate for Dykstra. If Brett hadn't done that, Dykstra wouldn't have spun. If Dykstra wasn't there, Brett wouldn't have flipped. But if Brett flipped on his own, there'd be a red flag. If Dykstra spun by himself as the leader, there would have been a yellow flag. They both go to the back.
That's a good point. Thank you. Holy shit, we agreed.
I can see both arguments. It's just not the way things have been treated. And I think there needs to be some clarification. And remember, I was unpopular a month ago when I said, hey, a car spins in turn 1 on the first lap. I think there should be a yellow and a restart. And I still hold to that. You have to avoid people wanting to race through wrecks.
Spencer saying, do you still go to the back for debris cautions as well for being involved in the caution? Yeah, like if your hood flies off and we can pin it on you and we have to go yellow, you're going to the back for that. I'm sure there's a specific question you have, an instance you want to discuss. That was funny. I don't know if you were there. No, you weren't there Friday night. Someone came up to me and said, my boyfriend wants to talk to you about how he got disqualified. It was like 3 a.m. I said, not tonight, you don't. I just walked away. I mean, I'm there to relax. He can call me today. I'm not dealing with it at that time.
I've got 2 things to say about that. One, I was serious in our chat earlier. I think we should do a drunk clip show. You'd have to screen it past the drunk people before you air something to make sure they're cool with it. But I just think we get approached with some of the most amazing comments when people are drinking. And it's not always positive. It's often not positive. Like, hey, I disagree with 90% of the things you say. Well, I appreciate you listening to 100% of them to know that you disagree with 90%. Like, right? Yeah. It's not always, I love you. It can be a lot of different things, but I love that.
I thought it was great to have everybody party. I mean, I know some people don't love it, but man, we had a party all night. We went to bed at 6:30 in the morning. It was wild. Both nights, great times. If you want to sleep, go to the Blue Lot. That's all I can tell you. Book your camping in the blue lot. The orange lot seems to be kicking off more and more. And I'm not going to shy away from it. We're trying to build that fun party culture a little bit. You come out to us weekend, want to let your hair down. It is a late night because we're all working till midnight. The band doesn't even start till then. So we are going to rock it.
We had zero problems. Like all those people drinking, all that emotion during the races, no problems.
I had one problem. I almost had to go East Hamilton once, but that was okay. We settled that quickly.
Did I witness
you weren't around to see that. No. It was one of Racer's buddies came up and got a little inappropriate with his hands, and I had to swat the beer away. And
I heard about that.
It was good. It was all good.
Listen,
all good. Came back to apologize.
If there's music playing and I'm by the fire and I take a shine into you, I'm gonna come up.
Don't start.
I'm not going there. It's so far past my bedroom. This is ridiculous.
Oh, quit whining. We got like 10 more minutes to go. Where are you going this week? That was a touch on. You got Buxton, you got Eldora, you got Brighton, you got Sunset. You got lots of choices this weekend. So pick somewhere good. Get out. We only got a few weeks left.
Yeah. I was invited to go to Antigonish this weekend.
Oh, really?
Tim Terry messaged me. They
a long drive.
An announcer to work with him, and he says, it's only a flight and a hotel. And I said, thank you, but no thank you. So
yeah.
I think the schedule I've got left is what I've got left. And
okay, we got a couple things to get through. Quick picture drop, Spencer. Any other pictures that I sent you today? Then we're going to talk about 2 more topics, flushing out the toxics, and sometimes we're wrong, and then I'll let Adam go to sleep. This is kind of neat. One of the ARCA teams were told they were not allowed to work on their car in the hotel beside it there in the background, so they moved next door to Subway and just got to work on maintenance. I thought it was kind of neat. Subway just said you had to be there. Lots of questions about Stuart Friesen. This is a picture that was shared on the internet this weekend. He was at the Fonda 200 up on crutches. Good to see you out of the wheelchair, Stu, and getting around. Hope you feel better soon. You know we're Bills fans around here at Bills Mafia. This is cool. Ashton Van Every's custom helmet that I somehow missed on Saturday, but I thought was super cool.
That is awesome.
Anything else? Oh, campground. When I left yesterday at 2 o'clock, Adam, look at how clean that is. Oshwegan Campers, you're the best. We thank you for caring about the property, and we're going to continue to make it better because of the great attention you guys keep to Glenn's property and making sure you left it better than you got it. So thank you so much for that. Microsprint Nationals on Wednesday. That was a wild show. We had tons of new people come in. Just a cool lineup of all the opens lined up, ready to go. If you've never seen it this year, make sure you check it out. And look at all the people, Adam. It was freaking nuts there on Wednesday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like a fair. It was so awesome. We appreciate everybody for coming off that. Those are just some of the pictures that I snapped on Wednesday night. I picked up some hats this week, and I won't tell you where I picked it up, but I think the L and the I ran together a little too much. And I didn't raise a big stink about it. I just took it, and when I went to take a picture in the back seat, I'm like, all right, that's fair.
Wow.
Is that too much? Hey, it's. I just said this is the After Dark version. All right. Do you want to tell me? Do you want me to tell you the story about how I explained some mistakes, or do you want me to talk about flushing the toxics? You can pick, Adam.
I'm here now. I'm invested. Both.
All right. So sometimes flushing out. No, let's start with sometimes we're wrong. So on Wednesday night, we had an issue at Micro Sprints with one of our beginner classes. These kids are like 7, 8 years old. We wronged this racer, okay? And I don't really want to say the name, but it's out there. Anyways, it was bad. Like, he led the Micro Sprint Nationals till 3 to go. We had a caution. He somehow winded up in 3 under the yellow. Didn't contest his spot. We dropped the ball, went back to get green, and with 3 laps, by the time we really found out what was going on, we robbed this kid, Adam. So I had to have a talk with his mom the next day, and I asked them to come out to the Nationals and be our guests so we could sit down and talk about it. And this is a fun, it has kind of a cute ending, but at the end, so this is a situation, and I just want to explain how we handle the situations from the track side when these deals come up. And I thought it was important for young racer not to get turned off by what was taking place. And we had to stand up and admit. And it's one thing to admit to an angry racing adult, but it's a whole other thing to admit to a kid that you screwed them over, right? So we had to have this talk. They came out Friday, I think it was, and we got to sit down and chat. And we went in Brian Nanakoke's trailer, the mom, the dad, and the young racer, and Jeff Smith from our go-kart program was there in microsprints. And I had to explain to the man about this. And again, no excuses. We're not making an excuse. We were wrong, and we need to be better, and here's how we're being. But in that instance, all I feel I can do as the manager is sit down, explain how we got in that situation, explain how we're going to fix it, and explain how we're going to be better and apologize for the future and learn from it for all of us. So, and you can jump in anytime and tell me if I'm wrong with my explanation, but I said, look, at this stage of the game, whether you're playing minor lacrosse, hockey, baseball, you typically have young teenagers learning their craft, officiating that. And that's what we have. We have a young team assisted by adults, but, we're all trying to learn this deal together. So a missed call was made, and we'll learn from it. And it doesn't excuse it, but that's really what happened. The transponder dropped off. And we all had to go. And I had to tell this young race, unfortunately, if you're going to be in this game, this won't be the last time a bad call cost you a race from an official. And it's a hard reality to tell a 7 or 8-year-old who is a great little racer with the politest attitude. And as my daughter Kenzie would say, the cutest little face. So it was tough to see him be upset about this. So the saving grace was the parents were fantastic. They accepted where we were. We talked about how we'll be better and how we can eliminate these situations going forward. And I said to him, okay, look, I can't give you the microsprint bigger trophy you got, but I can get a trophy made for you that recognizes your 4 wins. He was cool with that. He told his mom in front of me that being invited to the Nationals was better than winning the microsprint Nationals. So that made me feel a little bit better, which was kind of cool. And I said, but I do have feature winner hats that I'm giving away this week and that you would have won had you not gotten wronged by us. And I can give you the checkered flag you would have won. So, because you won a few of them. Would you like to get a trophy and a flag and a hat? He said, yeah. So we ran over from Crow's Trophy into the thing. And on our way back, we passed through the Monahan pit. And he must know the Monahans because I think it was Rogan Monahan looked at him and said, hey, man, what happened? You got a flag and a hat? And right on cue, he said, yeah, I got robbed, and kept walking straight. And I died laughing because we did rob the little guy. And that was his token gift for being mistaken by us. But I just thought it was a cool story, and it was kind of emotional for us because it bugged me, Adam, that night that we had done this and that it wasn't right, and we had to make it right. And I felt it was the best thing we could do. And the mom, I'm just going to read her post here if I can quickly because she put up a post and it kind of validated what we're trying to do here. And I appreciate their understanding of the situation and understanding that we're all going to learn this and be better for it. I just got to find it here. And the comment she made me feel better. Yeah.
While you're looking for it, I was standing with his family watching that feature. And I was pretty sure that scoring had made a mistake. But I think it was the grandparents. It was some older individuals that were there to cheer him on. I can see where the kid gets his nature from because they weren't furious. They were curious. So why did that happen? What happened there? And I don't know what happened there. I said, I have a feeling a mistake's been made in scoring. I said, it's unfortunate. I said, but yeah, it looks like that might have affected him. Like that didn't go his way. But they didn't get belligerent. They didn't get nasty. They just thought that's unfortunate. You know what I mean? Where a lot of people.
Yeah, somehow he got shuffled back to third, and because his transponder had dropped off, and we're still trying to figure out why the transponder dropped off there. Was it a battery issue? The other thing, Adam, is that track was groomed right to the bottom. And I'm wondering, was there somehow they got around the inside tip of that transponder line because we never had the track pushed down that far. So we're going to do some testing this week and find out. There's lots of situations there. The reason we don't know it is because once it dropped off, they started putting it in manually as soon as they noticed. So we don't really know if it was there the rest of the race or if it came out. But yeah, and here's the message we got. Unfortunately, we were wronged by track officials on our last night of the season. With racing being a live sport, there isn't a way to fix the mistake, and everyone is human and shit happens. Again, we will use this as a learning experience. Good thing our little man is in for the sport of fun and friends, and he was upset, don't get us wrong, but as we discussed, we're looking forward to it next season. I will say I'm incredibly impressed by how the track officials have handled the situation. Not only do they offer us free tickets to the big show, they're taking time out of their busy weekend to talk to him. As parents or grandparents, this one was a hard one. It sucks this happened, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't have wanted this to happen at any other track. And that's the comment that meant the most to me and made me feel we did the best we could. Thank you to the officials who have stepped up, owned it, and handled the situation with a great amount of respect. So I appreciate those comments. You know who you are, and that is a big thing for us. You know, we can't turn back time. I can't give him the win back, even though he, might have deserved it. We just don't know, but we'll be better for it. And I just thought that was a kind of story I had to get out because it was just wild.
Yeah.
Now, the last one I got on is flushing out the toxics. And if you didn't like what I had to say earlier and you didn't like what Jacob and Brett had to say, you might just want to close off the show right now. Okay? Because I'm about to get fired up.
I work here.
I don't mean you. Ohsweken Speedway is a private club owned by private citizens, owned by a family. It is not a given right. It is not a privilege. It's a privilege. It is not something you can guarantee. If we don't like the look of your car, you're not welcome. And I know that's a cocky thing to say, but it's true. If Glenn Stiers wakes up tomorrow and doesn't want any red race cars at his track, there won't be any red race cars the next time we open. And where I'm leading into this, Adam, is I'm sick of the toxic bullshit that some of our race teams keep pulling around and people who hang around this sport. I'm about to start just banning people for being toxic dickheads. And if you want to come out and talk shit about us and constantly throw mud, just sign yourself out of the Speedway forever. And I got about a short list, about 3 or 4 guys that I am just absolutely done with their trash. And I feel like telling them, sell your car because you won't be back in 2026. And some of them, it's infuriating, Adam. Some of them asked me for favors the night before. Like I had a microsprint dad who asked me to do things for him on the Thursday night, and the next morning he's throwing us under the bus. Screw you, bud. Go back to whatever you did for the last 10 years because we don't need your toxic shit around there. I got 130 teams, and all you do is bellyache about every freaking thing. If you don't like it, piss off, buy a boat, go back to lacrosse, whatever the hell you did for the last 12 years, go back to it. Go fly a freaking kite. And I'll guarantee it because I won't let you in the place no more. And I'm going to have the backing from the Stiers because we're building a magical thing on our own private stage. And if you don't want to be a part of it and you don't like the way it is, hump off, bro. And I got about 5 of them. I'm about to start naming names. There's a mini stock dickhead. There's a street stock guy. There's a crate sprint guy. There's a micro sprint dad. And those are my fast 4 right now who are going to take the flusher way out of here. And if you didn't see what happened to a team here in the last 2 years that weren't allowed to race on the property, just ask them. They just got back this year. So get real, bud. This is a private deal. And don't ask me for no freaking favors no more. If you got anything shitty to say about me, screw off and bite it. Because I ain't giving you nothing no more. So the same guys who are going to message me tomorrow and ask me for a favor and throw shit on me the next day, don't even freaking bother. And don't even bother coming to the track no more. Because you're about to get a letter that says you're not welcome on private property. So stick it. And I don't give a shit you just spent 30 grand on a crate car. You're an asshole. So go do something else.
How dare you talk about Rodney Rutherford? He's a nice guy.
It's not Rodney yet.
Okay.
But no, man, there's too much shit going on. We got too much good things going on for these race teams, and I'm not tolerating their garbage anymore.
Listen.
Go to one of the other shit tracks that don't put any effort in for you guys, and then you can cry up their fucking ropes.
Take a sip. Take a breath.
I'm happy to say that. I'm not even mad. I've been waiting to say that all weekend.
I'm mad at Cam Harris tonight because Cam put up a post about how there's a lot of drama going on, and I don't comment on a lot of things anymore. But I commented on it, and he took the post down for different reasons. Here's my take. You are absolutely right, but It's the same way I feel about yelling over the one-way radio. It's unnecessary. You are the law. So don't get upset by these people. Remove the problem.
I'm just
Right?
saying, I've given more than enough
I
leeway
know
for
you
these
have.
guys. I even give them favors after the deal. And at the end of the day, you know what? You're never going to be happy, bud. So go do something else. Go fishing. Go whatever you want to do. Because I got
No,
120
that's so
people
true.
who come to me with legit complaints that I can fix, and you're just a whiny bastard. So, and that goes for all four of you guys. And if you know who I'm talking about, good. Wear that shoe and walk a freaking mile in it. Because I'm done. You know, we put so much effort into this deal, and for you guys to talk crap like that, nah, no more. I'm not taking it. And if I see them, that brings me another question, Adam. I know it's late, but one other question for you, since we're going to go 3 more minutes and make it a true hour and a half. What about media people that I let into our infield, and all they've done since that weekend is talk shit about us? Am I obliged to let them back in? Or can I say, I don't need you in my place no more? Because you have nothing but negative shit to say.
No, you don't have to let anybody in. But I might. I think some negative shit might get more traction than positive shit.
You know,
People
and
will defend. People will defend the
hey,
racetrack.
when we are wrong, when we are wrong, throw shit. But when you have no idea what you're talking about and you're just negative all the time, that's where I don't.
Do you remember the days before Facebook when we owned Dirt Track Digest and the forum was the hottest place people could go to share their opinions? What did we used to do when people got out of line? We'd sit back and watch.
Right?
Nah, give them enough rope. Or I'm not kicking you out. Keep talking, you stupid bastard. You're only going to make yourself look dumber. 9 times out of 10, that was enough, unless you're like Johnny Scarborough, and then you need to send him packing. But don't give the negativity don't give it enough air to get that upset. Just deal with it. Like Mark De Silva says. Mark wrote a really good post, I thought, on the weekend about some frustrating things that happened on Friday, and those are things that were dealt with in the background. There's different ways to go about different things, but if someone gets out of line, and there's no point getting mad. Why get mad? I'm saying,
I mean, because I'm passionate about what we do, and I'm insulted by the efforts. And one of them was to come out and say, the one comment that pissed me off, 0 track effort made. Well, Ricky's in this chat. How dare you say that about our track crew on Thursday, who worked their balls off?
Right.
No, man, I am getting mad about this. How can you do that?
Let's talk about that individual without naming them. I know who you're talking about.
But still, for you to say we make 0% effort is wrong, because the exact opposite happened. They put too much effort into it. We rolled it too flat with the steamroller, and it slicked off more than we expected for the amount of go-karts and micro sprints we had there that night. So it was over-prepped. For you to say it was 0 prepped, screw it, bud. Screw you and your whole team.
Why are you giving it oxygen? Here's the issue.
Because I need that person to hear that I'm not taking their shit no more. And their type of attitude is not welcome anymore. So if I hear one more thing of bullshit from them, they're out. Forever. The whole clan. Gone.
I get it. You're making yourself crystal clear. What I'm saying is, do you really think you're going to turn this guy into a nice guy?
Nobody better shut the hell up and leave me alone.
Exactly. That's the point
about this place.
That's the moral of the story. But you've now gone on for like 6 minutes. There were some phenomenal things that happened. I can think of way better things.
6 days. I waited 6 days to blow that up. Sorry.
And you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong at all. I'm just saying the energy, and people like seeing you get worked up, right? So it's going to be good for our numbers. But my thought is the negativity is such a minute piece of what went on. I would sooner take some of the positives that we had in the campground after the races, that we had on the racetrack, race teams helping each other, fantastic action, a mini stock winning the Thunderstock Championship and the Thunderstock. That was a mini stock. Ryan Beagle's backup Thunderstock used to be a mini stock.
No shit, eh?
That's
wild.
Cool.
That was one of those 4-cylinder cars. Yeah, and hey, Adam, don't get me wrong. I'm not letting this overshadow. I was excited to get this off my chest. But man, I have been on an absolute high since Saturday night. I couldn't be more proud of what we put out there. The show we put out there was 5-star action, entertainment, like Ryan Turner said. Even if you didn't know who it was, you thought it was amazing. You thought it was amazing. Callan's intros is always good. I love the fireballs to push off the sprint cars. We had a lot of great things. Car counts were still wicked. Crates are continuing to blossom. I mean, I got nothing bad to say. Nothing bad to say, but I did have to get that off my back.
Cam's post was about drama at the races, and my thought that I put out was drama only exists if you allow it, if you pay attention to it, if you give it attention. Because the people who create drama at the racetrack are the same ones who create drama at work or at their church.
Yes.
Or in their family. And you're never going to change that. People who circulate
right there, though. You're right. I'm not going to change it, but I don't need them in this congregation one more day.
That's right. You're probably not going to get kicked out of church. You're probably not going to get kicked out of your family. You might lose your job depending on how strong, or you're probably not going to lose your job. But you can lose the luxury of going to Ohsweken Speedway, and you're still going to be an asshole no matter where you go from there. That's
Glenn has given me a mandate to get rid of the toxicity at that place. So we're doing it. And I can't be more happy to do it. Because as Dad always told me, the only way to deal with an asshole is be a way bigger one. Hey, let's talk about what was way big. 50-50, over $12,000. That's a whole other discussion to get in next week. I know some fans weren't happy on how it was doled out, but I think it was amazing. It was $7,000 was the split. And then we added another $4,800 from previous unclaimed winnings from the year for a total win of $12,105, which is wicked. Super cool. Let's get out of here, Adam. You got to go to bed. I still have another 4 hours of work to do. I got my chicken wings coming up. This is my prime time for me. And we'll talk tomorrow around lunchtime.
You're going to stew like the Tasmanian devil in your office.
I'm not. I'm in the best mood this week.
I could have said that. I could have closed. We're having another show. 2 in the morning.
You know me. I'm as glad as ever when this is over every week. But tonight was a great show. We had a lot to talk about, and we're passionate about it. So we appreciate it.
And I'm glad it looked
Happy birthday, McLean Callan. McLean Callan's birthday today for a few more minutes. Thank you, McLean, for all you do. What a great deal. We heard lots of great stuff about McLean and Jack this weekend on the move. So awesome. And everybody came up to Adam and I this weekend. We definitely appreciate the comments as well. It's great you're all watching. Take us home, Adam.
That's a lot of pressure. Don't put that pressure on me, Ricky Bobby. It was an awesome weekend. Good to see you smiling. And there's still a little bit more racing to come, so take it in. Don't miss the year-end shows. Don't miss the opportunity to go to Sunset. It might be your last. We don't know. There's still some action. Applefest coming up. Great Canadian weekend coming up at Delaware. There's lots of hype going on. And, of course, Autumn Colors at Peterborough. Thanksgiving weekend.
I didn't dread it away. I had a great weekend. Thanks, everybody. See you guys. Thank you, Spencer.